chances are you've worked up a good sweat by now.
So how's this work?
Very cool.
You just gonna talk to me and
Yeah. It's just laid back. Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty. Yeah. It's pretty.
Cool.
It's pretty unedited. Like
Okay,
it's
cool.
just kind
Just
of.
let it be raw.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. And I just throw the theme song at the beginning.
Nice.
And
It is what it is.
yeah, it is what it is. Yeah. It's just
I
a.
love that.
It's just a chill hang.
I
yeah.
love that. Cool.
So yeah. First tell everyone. Who you are and how we know each other.
Sure. Yeah. My name's Lindy Welch, and Jared and I know each other. Gosh, you were a youngster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you start with me? Well, I was your music teacher, music and drama teacher.
Yeah.
Probably fifth grade band.
Actually, so
Even before that.
I went to Winograd from 5th through 7th.
Oh, okay. So you jumped in with us.
grade.
Eighth grade
Yeah.
band, saxophone player.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
And-
I started saxophone at Winograd
Yeah.
in 5th grade.
Right,
band.
and then you jumped in with our band.
Yeah.
Yep. And then, of course, you did choir, and I talked you into doing honor choir and all that kind of stuff.
and drama.
Drama. Yeah,
Yeah.
at that point, I was the drama teacher, too.
Yep.
So, yeah. So we've known
Yeah.
each other quite a while.
I know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm glad I did all of that. You
Yeah.
know, it was really fun.
Yeah,
and,
you were always fun. You were
Yeah.
always a trip to.
Yeah, well, I think,
Never knew what we were going to get with Jared.
I think that's really where I really fit in really well with the music crew and
Yeah.
like the artistic crew.
Absolutely.
And it led me to be a performer
Yeah.
too. So like
Absolutely.
I always look back on that as kind of like my foundation for like performing.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
um,
Well, and
yeah.
we could always see a little bit of your comedic timing just in your life, you know. And so it feels to me like even I typecast you a little bit in a lot of the roles in the shows. With you were always a little bit of the, I don't know, a little bit of the comedic.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Like we did Godspell.
Yeah.
And I was Jeff, I think.
Yeah.
And I think we did it. We gave everyone a job.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
didn't exist in the original
Right.
play, right?
Right. Because we said it in the streets. It was
Yeah.
modern day in the streets. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was a dog catcher.
Yeah. I
Which
remember
was
that.
fun
Yeah.
because I got to have like the dog catching thing.
Yeah.
And I remember that was just a very fun show. And
Yeah.
that was when we were doing stuff at the Armory.
Right.
Which was so cool.
Yeah,
Like
to have that
I love
building.
that place.
Yeah.
Like I keep wanting to
Go in there. It's so cool.
So
Yeah.
they had like
It's
a
so cool.
coffee shop in there and
Yeah.
stuff. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm
cool.
so glad that we have this building.
Yeah.
And like
It's a cool building.
I always thought it would be great for like, because I don't know what's it's being used for anymore.
It's just like it's a coffee shop. It is they do poem nights. What do they call
Really?
those poem jams? I don't know what they call it.
Poetry slams.
Poetry slam. There
Yeah.
it is. Poetry slams.
Yeah.
They use it for
Wow.
a lot of different things. Yeah,
Okay.
you should go in there. It's pretty cool.
I hope that they do like bigger live shows again soon,
yeah.
because I always thought it was such a great space
Yeah,
for
it's got
that.
great equipment. We left all that equipment when we
really?
closed the building. You know, we had it as a church for a long
Yeah.
time. We closed it. We left all that equipment in there. So
Wow.
really nice lighting, really nice sound.
That's
it's
so
all,
cool.
It's all still in there. So,
Yeah, we did that, and then the Miracle Worker. I was more background for that
Yeah.
because Jill Anderson was the star of the
Right.
show. Right. And
And I'm wondering, what's the one that we did, the Tom Sawyer one, where you were the preacher?
yeah,
Yeah, I can't remember the name of that show, but anyway.
I vaguely remember
yeah,
that.
yeah, I
And
remember
then
it.
the big one, and then we did the Seussical musical.
Oh yeah.
But that was in the cafeteria, and we did Charlie Brown in the cafeteria.
Yep.
And those were the big ones for
Yeah,
me, and especially Seussical because I always say that was like my first stand-up set
Yep.
because it was a comedy, one act.
Yes.
And you were like, well, we need to fill more time, so
Yeah.
how about everybody does their opening monologue that you auditioned with?
Yeah.
And my audition was like, a scene from or a bit from John Mulaney's
Yes.
album, his first album.
Yep.
So like I
Yep.
recited that as
Yep.
like a monologue
Yep.
kind of.
Mhm.
And then
Absolutely.
I was like, well, what if for my I wrote a thing about when I did Romeo and Juliet in 5th grade. And I was like, what if I did that for like a story?
Yeah.
And you saw it at dress rehearsal, and it got the stamp of approval. So I got to do it.
I
then.
believed in you from the get-go,
Yeah.
Jared. I'm your biggest fan.
Yeah, and then I got laughs, and I was
Yeah.
like, well, that was great.
Yeah.
That was super fun. So yeah, and then from there, I was like, well, this could be a thing.
Yeah,
You know? So
cool. I'm super proud of you.
Yeah,
It's been fun
thanks.
to watch your journey and just
thanks. Yeah,
super
likewise.
Cool. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. So yeah, you were the music person at Dayspring
I
for
did.
a long time.
20 years. I was there for 20
Wow.
years. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I needed to pivot. Is it okay if we kind of head that direction?
Sure,
already?
yeah, of course.
So I needed to pivot. So I actually always wanted to be a music therapist. So I'm now a full-time music therapist. And I'll tell you a little bit about music therapy.
Yeah.
But I always wanted to be a music therapist, actually. And I can kind of tell you my journey into that. But that was in my heart since like I was 17. And then I just went into music ed because that was a little bit easier for me as far as like the training and all the education I would have had to get, because I grew up in rural Nebraska. I would have had to leave a long ways away to get the training for music therapy. So I went the music ed route, and I'm glad I did. I loved it. I got to meet people like you, and all the other, amazing kids that came my way. But
Yeah, definitely.
But music therapy was really what I was designed to do. So that's why when my youngest graduated from high school in 2017, I just said to Dayspring, I'm out. I gotta go, because this is what I'm called to do. So
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So you want me to tell you a little bit about music
Sure.
therapy?
Yeah. Like, what does that involve, and what's that about?
It's funny because a lot of people get music therapy mixed up with like sound healing or frequency healing. It's not that at all. So music therapy is an evidence-based practice where you're using the elements of music for healing. So the best way that I can describe it is like if you take what a physical therapist can do, or an occupational therapist can do, or a counselor can do in the mental health world, you take those three kind of professions, but you use music as the tool to for the rehabilitation or the healing. That's what I do. Yeah. So like, for instance, I worked for the Rocky Mountain Stroke Center for a while in Denver, and instead of just using like a regular speech therapist would do, we used music to help them rehabilitate their speech. So we would help them relearn to speak through singing, because speech and singing happen on different parts of the brain. So if they've got a traumatic brain injury from a stroke on their speech side, well then we can teach them to speak through singing.
Wow.
Yeah, and they totally regain their ability to speak again. We even had an aphasia choir. Aphasia is the loss of speech. So we even had an aphasia choir where all these people would come together who had massive strokes, and we had used music to help them relearn to sing. And they would be in this choir together with sometimes their partner, like their husband or their wife or their partner. And so we'd have people that weren't affected by the brain injury standing next to somebody with a brain injury, and then we'd have them sing, and it's a beautiful thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of like you might start with the individual, and then you have them do you have music in the background?
Nope. It's all live music. So it's me producing live music with them. So basically, here's like an example. So I'll have like a group. So I work with a group. I work with senior adults with dementia, Alzheimer's, just aging adults, so like assisted living, that kind of thing. I work with adults that have intellectual developmental disabilities. I work with private clients. So I always bring my guitar. And what I do is research shows that music works best in your brain with the music that you like. So I have to find out what each client likes.
Okay.
Now, in a group setting, you have to kind of, you're not going to please everybody all the
Right.
time. But for instance, I have a gal that has cerebral palsy, and so she loves Taylor Swift. And so I do a lot of Tay-Tay with her. Yeah, but what I'm doing is the music is motivating her movement. And so we're working a lot on her speech.
Yeah.
We're working a lot on her movements. And so I'll give her an instrument. I'll play my guitar. I'll give her an instrument in this hand, like a maraca, and she's shaking it while we're singing the Taylor Swift song, and then she has to pass it over to this hand, which is a huge task for someone with cerebral palsy.
Okay.
The hand passing thing. And so I'm using the music is the motivation for the action. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the vehicle.
Yeah.
In the brain that connects the synapses.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's such a beautiful thing too, because music is so motivational that they don't even feel like they're getting an hour worth of therapy. They'll sometimes be like, well, that was fun. If I work in memory care, And a lot of those folks, if that's a terrible disease, dementia and Alzheimer's, terrible disease. But I'll come in with a guitar and we'll start singing songs from their era and they just brighten up. Like it's an hour worth of just fun. And I'll do cognitive things within those things, like, let's listen for a certain word. And every time you hear a certain word, I want you to shake your shaker. So I'm giving their brain an opportunity to focus on something.
Wow.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden there they are. Or, I've had this happen. Last week where there was a gentleman that he came into this memory care unit. He's never talked to them at all. He lost his speech completely because of dementia. And he'd made it through this whole, my first time meeting him, he's in a group, whole time hadn't participated. He had a tambourine in his hand. I get to like the second to the last song and I started to play Blue Christmas by Elvis. And all of a sudden, eyes opened. He started to sing like the full song, every single word.
Wow.
The staff members just looked at me like I've never heard a single word come out of this man. But it's because the music was motivating that speech. And so at the end of the song, I said, "Hey, it looked like you like Elvis." And he said, "Yes." And I said, "Do you like this, or why do you like Elvis?" And he said, "I met Elvis." So he said, "I met Elvis." 3 words from a man who could not speak at all. So
that's so crazy.
Yeah.
Like it's so interesting how without music, then the brain can't, like after event like a stroke, like the brain like can't like connect to the speech.
Yeah.
But when you add the music underneath it, somehow,
music's like, I got this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's so wild how
Yeah.
the brain connects those dots.
Yeah.
Like that's gotta be like an old part of the brain then to like.
Yeah.
For that to work now.
Yeah, for sure. And it's just one of those things where I start to see those connections in my job, and then I can translate that into other parts, other populations, other demographics that I work with.
Okay.
And it's amazing to see it.
Wow.
So one of my passions is music therapy in addiction recovery, and I worked for North Range Behavioral Health for 4 years. I'm not there now, just for some financial things, but a music therapy helping people get out of addiction. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. It's beautiful because you think about it, when somebody's in addiction, those drugs and alcohol have completely depleted the dopamine from their brain. They get that hit and then it pulls it back, and then they're always going after that first hit. That's all the dopamine.
Right.
Well, music is a natural dopamine release. So I come in with like hand drums or music that they like, and we start doing some active music making. Oh my gosh, they'll use phrases with me like, "I feel high." Like, what's wrong with me? I'm completely sober and I feel high. I'm like, that's music. That's the dopamine.
Wow.
That's the high you should be getting from music. So, yeah, it's so cool.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite populations. I'd love to get back to that if I can.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Did you have to go get more schooling?
Yes, for sure. So I had to get because I had a music degree already, I got what was called a master's equivalency from Colorado State University.
Okay.
And so basically what you're doing is you're getting all the training in the neurological aspects of music. So you're having to take neuroanatomy and all these other classes that are showing you how music works specifically in the brain. And then you're taking classes also on all the diagnoses. So you're getting like a medical training on here's all these diagnoses and here's how music can come alongside Parkinson's disease or cerebral palsy or whatever. So you're getting kind of this massive medical training along with, And I had already had the music training. So, there was a lot of those folks that were sitting alongside of me that were getting all the music training too, the music theory and the history and the voice lessons and all that. I had already had that. So I was like,
so that was, that was easy.
Yeah.
That was like,
I mean, it was still hard, but I didn't have to have all that.
Yeah,
so,
totally.
Yeah.
So, I was going to say, there must have been a lot of science.
Tons of neuroscience. Tons of neuroscience.
Was that hard to study and learn?
Yes and no. I've really turned into a brain nerd because it's so fascinating.
Yeah.
So it was hard to learn because I was an older learner. So when I went back to CSU, I was 48.
Wow.
Yeah, right? So,
nice.
I was 48 when I went back. And I was like, whoa, I have to relearn how to learn. So,
that discipline of school again.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I had to listen auditory. I had to write, literally, I had a notebook. Like these kids sitting next to me are like, what's that? I'm like, this is a pen. This is a notebook. I had to literally write it down. And then when I went home, I went and I typed up those notes.
Okay.
So I had to hear it, I had to write it, I had to type it. And then when I was getting ready for tests, then I had to reread all of that.
I mean, that's the way to do it, honestly. That's like, if like we all had that level of discipline, like, that's how you learn the best.
Yeah.
It's like you write it out first.
Yeah.
You go through it again and you type it out so it's clean.
Yeah.
And then you read it again. Like
Yeah.
that's how I was taught to study. But most of the time studying was like read it once the night before and bullet points and then try to memorize those bullet points.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's be honest. That's how we all did it in our undergrad.
Totally.
You know, we survived our undergrad that way.
Totally.
But I just knew because I was 48 that I was going to have to these kids
Put
next
an
to me are
extra
brilliant.
mile.
They just sit there with nothing. They didn't have anything and they're just listening. And then they would take the test and I'd be like, oh my God, do you know what I just did?
Yeah, for real.
But I was 48 when I started the degree program and then started went through the program. I started my internship in January of 2020 and then the world shut down and I was like, crap, how am I going to get my internship done?
Yeah.
But
Where were you interning at?
I interned at in Denver with Rehabilitative Rhythms and in Fort Collins at Foundations Music School, which has a music therapy program.
Oh, wow.
So I was commuting to both those places.
Oh, wow, okay.
And I had a couple sites here in Greeley that I had already kind of established. So I had 3 kind of locations that I was doing. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the world shut down. But luckily, the National Board Certification for Music Therapists were very kind and let us just do a whole bunch of research and write about it. I'm like, okay, for those weeks that were all shut down. And eventually then we were able to go back and work with clients, but it was a mess for a while. So,
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Tough timing.
Yeah. I finished in July of 2020. And because I was a school teacher for 25 years, I did not want to work for another administrator. I mean, I had some really good administrators and I had some not so good administrators.
Sure.
And I was like, that's not happening. I'm going to be my own boss.
Yeah.
So I just started my own business and
Okay.
that's what I do. I'm the boss. I'm the only therapist. I just started going place to place, telling them a little bit about what I do. And then they just hire me. And so that's
interesting. Okay. So
I have about 43 clients now. Total.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
between groups and individuals. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you made like your own like LLC or something?
Yep, I have my own LLC.
Okay.
Yep,
Wow.
LLC. Yep. And then I just.
What's it called?
It's called Overtones Music Therapy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was that hard? Was that like figuring out that kind of stuff?
Yeah, because like they did a little bit at CSU to train you for business stuff, but
Okay.
I mean honestly, I was a music teacher. I didn't
Right.
know diddly about like any business planning or anything like that. So it's been a tough road to kind of figure it out. But I've had a lot of people help me. My oldest kiddo, CJ, is super smart with that kind of stuff. He runs a marketing agency now in Nebraska, and so I'm like, I don't understand, but they just come alongside and and I was at a place in my life where I didn't have to like have a full-time job right away. So I started with like 2 clients and then worked into 4 and then 8 and then, and now I have 43. So yeah.
So you were going to like, did you do research on like the places that have a demand for?
Yeah. So mainly,
music therapy?
right. So I knew that senior living centers. I have a strong. You might remember this from Kerygma. I always loved going into taking you guys into nursing homes.
Yeah.
That's a passion of mine. So I
Totally.
just called all the nursing homes and all the assisted living memory care, and I'm like, hey, here's what I do. Are you interested? I'll give you a free session. And they're like, yeah, come on in. So I brought my guitar.
Cool.
And gave them a free session. And they're like, yeah, let's do this.
Cool.
And I don't take insurance. Unfortunately, music therapy can't be billed to insurance, so they're all private pay, which is
Makes sense.
huge. I mean, that's a huge sacrifice for them to use a big chunk of their budget to pay me.
Sure.
But they know how important it is. They see how important
Wow.
it is. I also work in like day programs for groups that have intellectual developmental disabilities. So adults, like they live in their homes, but they come during the day and hang out. And so I'll go in and do music therapy with those folks. And,
Wow.
Yeah. And then just private clients. I just kind of word of mouth private clients.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Very nice. So
Yeah.
do you have like so you mentioned the stroke victims and then addiction. Like, what are some of the other
Dementia,
demographics?
Alzheimer's, intellectual developmental disabilities. I work a lot with people with ADHD, so give me a call.
Okay.
It's amazing. It's huge. 88.
I play music in the morning when I wake up.
You're probably doing yourself a big favor.
Totally.
There.
Because I use music all the time
Right.
for focus and for to keep me on track.
Yeah.
Because
your brain automatically knows what to do.
Yeah. Because I wake up and I'm like, I'm supposed to be putting my things together the night before, but I don't because I get home late or whatever, and I go to bed, and I wake up and I'm like, okay, I have to pack a bag because I'm leaving work right away. I also have to pack my camera gear, and I have to get dressed and ready for the day.
Right.
So I'm like trying to remember all this stuff, and if I don't have music going in the background, then I get distracted and I'll stare at the corner or something.
Because music's creating patterns and sequences in your brain, and it's
helps
good.
me keep track of time.
Yeah. Because you're like, oh, that's been 3 songs. This
Yeah,
must be
it's been
like
10 minutes, I gotta go.
Yeah, absolutely. That's brilliant. So I work with people with ADHD. I work with people with autism. I work with people with mental health issues. I've got some people with some had some huge traumatic stuff happen in their life, and they come and see me, and we use music to help rehabilitate them. Some of that looks like a counseling session. So we'll sit like in a room like this. We've used this room, and I'll say, share a song with me that's really meaningful to you. And so we'll just play it on my phone or their phone, and then we pull up the lyrics, and we're like, okay, so how does this song relate to your situation? How would you change this song if you wrote this song? What would be different about this song? So then you're helping them just emotionally process through their trauma through the music. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And sometimes I'll bring in a song. I'll be like, okay, here's a song I want to share with you that maybe because I pick up on, maybe they've had trauma from a certain type of experience. Well, I know a song that's been written from that perspective. So I'll bring in a song and I'll say, listen to this one. And they'll be like, whoa, that hit hard.
Wow.
Let's talk about it,
Yeah.
And then I'm not a licensed counselor. So if it gets to the point where they need to, process that at a deeper level, I always make sure they have somebody else that they can talk to. Like make sure they have a counselor or a psychiatrist that they're already connected to.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And a lot of counselors, I've worked with counselors here in town, they love me to do a music therapy session with their client right before they go into counseling.
Oh, cool.
Because that music breaks down those walls, breaks down.
Yeah.
And so they're a lot more open.
Yeah, a lot more. Because that's got to be... I imagine that's kind of hard to kind of ease into if you're new to something like that. Because man, even now, if I singing in front of somebody, I'm like, ugh, it's so hard. We used to do it in a group setting, where we're like, this is like a class that I take, So it's and we're all doing it together. So it felt more silly to not participate than to do it with.
Right.
And everyone was so enthusiastic too. It was in
that's their passion.
Charisma and stuff.
Right. Everybody's like, this is what we love.
Yeah. So to be a part of that, was easier than just if we came in here and it's like, okay, I want you to sing your favorite song.
Right.
I'd be like,
no, I would never make a client. I would never make a client sing at all.
Oh,
we don't. I don't make them sing at all.
Okay.
If they want to sing,
You're doing
they
the
can.
singing.
I'm not even doing this. Like in the session I was just talking about, we're not doing any singing. We're listening to an artist that they like.
You're just listening.
Yeah,
to
we're
it
listening to the music
and
talking about it. So I'm like a counselor.
Got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
counselor client. There's no active music happening unless the client wants it.
Yeah,
it's
but
just
the music, that's easier to talk about a song that relates to you than it is to just be like,
hey, tell me all your problems.
Yeah, just
they're like, well, no, here's a
it,
song that tells you about my problems.
Yeah,
and then that opens them up. It makes it easier for them.
Totally.
Yeah.
Wow, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
And it's cool to dig into those songs too and what you like about them and stuff. Because a lot of times I just listen to music very passively, this is just the vibe that I want to hear right now,
which
or
is so
something.
cool. Yeah, especially if you've got ADHD, that's really good for your brain.
Yeah, I can't. I just my brain doesn't hear lyrics very well. I noticed that where I'm a more visual person, so I notice visual symmetry more than I can hear distinct lyrics and what that means to me. You know what I mean? So that's, I don't know.
Yeah, so the music therapy can go all sorts of ways. It can be more of what a physical therapist does, helping with those physical needs.
Yeah.
A lot of cognitive work, I'm doing all that cognitive work with senior adults, making sure to keep those attention centers going with the music, and using give them a shaker and they say, okay, let's put it in your non-dominant hand, shake it with that hand. hand so that they're getting the whole brain going, because music's a whole brain activity.
Right.
And then all the way over, like I said, the counseling session where we're just sitting in this room and we're just like, hey, who do you want to listen to today? I want to listen to NF, or I want to listen to whoever, and let's just talk about the song. You know? And then I turn into more like a counselor. So
is there anybody you work with who like maybe, I bet there's like a spectrum of like people who use music in their daily lives a lot, and then people who like, oh, I rarely even think about putting it on. Like, do you see a difference in like how they relate to music in those groups? Yeah,
for sure. So I can definitely see that in, for instance, like when I was working in addiction recovery, the people that would use music in their daily life would be much more open to the recovery process. And I think it's because music allows them to connect to their emotions. And so if somebody came in and they're like, oh, I never listened to music, it was like hard to get them to open up about stuff because they didn't have that already access to a source that automatically pulls emotions out. You know what I mean? Emotions, music is so connected to our emotions. And so if somebody's already listening to so much music that they'll be like, oh my God, Lindy, I got to show you this song. You know, and that's what I did a lot in addiction recovery is I didn't do a lot of live music. I was playing songs that they knew, and they were like, listen to this song. It relates totally to my childhood trauma, which led to my addiction. Whereas somebody else that didn't listen to music, I would be like, well, tell us a little bit about how this song related to you. I don't know. I didn't really listen to it because their brain's not used to listening to the music. Right. So they were just like, so then again, the level of depth that those people could get to with their recovery, for those people who listen to music, man, they would go deep. Those who weren't used to listening to music, it was just kind of heard along the surface. You're like, okay.
Yeah. So you have to put in a little bit more legwork for that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And as far as like, as far as like how music therapy is treated in the actual therapy space, like is it still kind of like a growing thing? Like, seems pretty new to me.
It's funny because it's not new, but it's so hard. I do not understand why music therapy has not taken off or been embraced like physical therapy or anything, because it's literally been around since the 1950s. So how it was discovered was right after World War II, they had hospitals for veterans, and they would, in those hospitals, they would, just for entertainment's sake, they would bring in live musicians. So they'd put a violinist or somebody in the hallway outside, these rooms, just to entertain these guys and women. And so what they started noticing was the veterans that were closest to the musicians were healing faster and getting out of the hospital quicker. So they would move that musician down the hall, and pretty soon these two guys are out, and then they move it. These two guys are out, and they were like, "Wait a second! There's some connection that's happening between the healing of these veterans and the music that's being played." So that's how music therapy started.
Wow.
Yeah, and people were like, "What's this connection?" And now the whole neuroscience world has taken huge steps towards the effects of music therapy.
Wow.
And so it is very much embraced. There are hospitals, Banner Health, hire music therapists. They'll go in and they'll go room to room and play music with people that are sick. Cancer units, NIC units, ICU units. They'll play music therapy for babies, and they'll help those babies' brains develop. They'll play music therapy in ICU, and they'll see people come out of comas because of music. And so it's widely embraced. It's widely embraced. Yeah, it's super cool.
I had no idea.
I know. A lot of people are like that. They're like, what?
Yeah. Well, I guess this is because, like, culturally, like, I feel like the more I learn about the science world and the health world, there's always something that's like popular, like in its heyday or whatever. Like, and you see that in history, but like right now it's like talk therapy and psychedelic therapy are like the two hot popular
for sure.
ones right
now.
And
talk therapy's always been there. Psychedelic kind of comes around, but music therapy's just run that gamut alongside of it this whole time. And it just takes, it's a matter of the people understanding it, being educated on it. Because I come from the education world, I'm a huge advocate on educating people on music therapy. And I even do that within a session. Like if you were in a session with me, I'd be like, hey, here's what we're going to do, and let me tell you why we're doing this. because this is what's happening in your brain.
Yeah.
Let's go. And I always just educate while we're doing it. So, I do a lot of talks around Greeley to try to educate people on what music therapy can do. But
where do you do the talks at?
Oh, just different places. Like I did a talk at the Grief Center. I talked to them about using music therapy in grief and how to help people through grief through song. Center for Independent Living had me come in and do a talk with them, and so just random places. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I get to do a lot. I go to UNC they ask me back every semester. It's actually a student-led group, and they are music educators. They're training to be music educators, but they want to know how to use music therapy elements in their classrooms, and then also what's an alternative if they decide not to be a music teacher. What's something else they can do? And I'm like, hey, that happened to me. Yeah. Here's what you can do.
Totally.
Yeah. So I go in every year and talk to those students about music therapy.
Cool.
They love it.
That's awesome. What does that look like in a classroom setting?
Oh gosh. Well, again, classroom music educators. If you think about it, classroom teachers, they have a lot to deal with. They have a lot of different. Neurological things that are happening with those kids. They're learning styles, they're learning levels, they're learning degrees. And so when they come into a music education room, when they come into the music classroom, then the music teacher can add elements of music therapy, like some cognitive things. We're gonna play our instruments on this song, and when you hear the word bumblebee, I want you to tap your instrument above your head, da 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 da, bumblebee, or whatever the song is, bumblebee. And that's a music therapy element because it's making that brain pay attention to certain elements in the song. So it's building up that core attention span. But I also talk to regular classroom teachers, and I tell them, do things like when your kids are really hyped up and you need them to not be hyped up, like get them to sit down and get them tapping left, with their feet left to right. Let's get a song out that they like. Get them tapping left to right. And they're like, why? I'm like, well, that bilateral tapping is going to ground them. Pretty soon they're going to be chill. Then find a song, find a song that's at a certain tempo, and I'll give them.
Sure.
I'll say start at 120. Here's a song you can use.
Yeah.
Or get on Google and search songs, and then the next song you play, have it go down to 88 beats per minute, or then have it go down to 60 beats per minute. You got 3 songs in a row. By that third song, these kids are like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm chill.
That bilateral movement just gets them all chilled out. Yeah,
I was pretty hyper for a second.
Yeah, but I'm chilled out.
No, I listened to Lionel Richie, and I feel pretty good.
Yeah, and it's just all about how the brain responds. Yeah, so just teaching them how to get their classroom, use the music within their classroom in a way that's going to get the brain to respond best. So,
yeah. I mean, I always loved like when teachers would play music, in class and stuff, and that's got to do wonders for especially teachers right now, and like how overpacked classrooms are, and like how crazy their lives must be.
Yeah, I had a kiddo that came to me at the age of 12 that was having some real major behavioral issues at school, and he didn't really want to do he had done some regular counseling. He's like, that just doesn't work for me. He has severe ADHD. And so he came to me and we started just some kind of tricks with him. One of them, I discovered that this kid's a drummer. Oh my gosh. We had no idea this kid was a drummer.
Yeah.
Got him on ADHD. Most ADHD people love to drum. It's really good for the brain. So we got him on some hand drums. But what I was having him do back at school was, I said, when you're at the desk and you're just so fidgety, do some drumming patterns on your feet, like do it so you're not bugging the teacher. But I also let the teachers know, hey, if you see this kid doing this under his desk, he's grounding himself, he's regulating himself. So do not punish him for that.
Yeah.
Just let as long as it's not bugging people, or put your hands underneath. I can't do it because I got a microphone, but put your hands underneath your desk and lightly tap some beats. And sure enough, man, he's still with me. He's 15 now, and his ADHD is still exists, but he knows how to function within his ADHD now.
Yeah, totally. He has tools now.
He has tools now. He used we discovered the drumming, so I moved from hand drums like bongos and congas and put him on a full-on drum set. The kid's an amazing drummer. He drums for a local church now at the age of 15.
Wow.
So yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, and it's just discovering what works best for the brain. And,
yeah. That's so the fidgeting stuff like that.
I remember you. I remember. I remember.
Stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I don't think I ever punished you for it.
No,
I was like, just go ahead, Jared. Just do your thing.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you definitely let me just be me.
Yeah.
And that was a good space for me to
Yeah,
do it in
yeah.
because I couldn't do that in other classrooms.
Yeah.
Like Colgate was like. So like Jared, just like chill out, dude.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. But if you can teach kids how to like hone that in, like that fidgety,
it helps me focus.
Yeah,
'cause then,
it helps you focus.
So like in your class, I would like spin a binder in my hands or something. But like now, like I'll either like I used to work hosting at Texas Roadhouse, and so I would get so bored, and so I would just drum with straws.
Yeah, there you
go. Now like I carry if I get particularly fidgety, like I have a fidget toy that like I move with my thumbs and like that just keeps that part of my brain like focused on something while I can do this, so
well, I've even seen people, that kind of leg twitch that people do, they kind of bounce their leg. That's regular.
I never thought of it that way.
That's your brain trying to regulate and just let it go, just let people do it. Like I've seen teachers or parents go, stop doing that, and I'm like, no, let your kid do that.
They need that.
Their brain is seeking some sort of stimulus, so just let them do that. Like it's not bugging anybody. Just let them do it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's so cool. Have you been stretched out of your comfort zone recently, or with within your new career field?
Yeah, this whole thing was a comfort zone stretch, if you think about it. So I had my path into music education, and I was rolling. And I'll tell you, about 7 years before I quit at teaching, I really felt the urge to be done. And I probably should have quit then, but then I would have missed you, So I had to stick around for Jared.
You had to.
To. But I really felt that itch in my soul, like go, go, go. And so when I went from being a teacher to being back into a college student, that was a huge comfort zone stretch for me.
Yeah.
First of all, like we talked about, I had to relearn how to learn. I had to give up my income. I no longer had an income.
Yeah.
So I had to give up my income. I had to go into a classroom where I was the age of these people's parents. I'm like, okay, are these guys gonna like embrace me or not? They were so wonderful.
Yeah.
I had students sitting next to me that were the same age as my youngest child, and I had students sitting next to me that were the same age as my oldest child, because they were getting their masters and these guys were getting their bachelors. And I was like, hey mom, but they never treated me like mom. They just treated me like one of their own, which was so cool.
Nice. So
they just embraced me like a peer. And they made fun of me sometimes because I had said old things or whatever.
Sure.
But like one time I called the neuroanatomy professor. She was literally like 2 years older than me, and I knew her. We had a mutual friend, and so I was like, "Hey, honey, come here." And I was like, I didn't realize I called her honey.
Oh yeah.
And then my peers were like, "You just called her honey." I'm like, "I did. I called the neuroanatomy professor honey." I was like, "Shoot." Anyway, but there's like, there's like that was a comfort zone pivot, and then another comfort zone pivot was music therapy is never about teaching music. You're never teaching people music.
Right.
It's always using music to help them. And so even as I began in my studies to plan, okay, you got to plan a session for, here's a client with Parkinson's disease. What are you going to do? Like my initial brain would go, teach them this. And then my music therapy professors were like, no, you're no longer, your goals are no longer teaching. And I was like, what? I no longer have to.
You're like a guide or something.
Yes, absolutely. It's never about teaching. It's always about what's gonna work best for their diagnoses and how can the music come alongside
what their
that.
goals are.
Yeah. So I'm never teaching them piano. I'm never teaching them to sing. It's never about that, unless that's a goal. Because I have had some clients where that's a goal.
Sure.
Then I'm like, oh, I know how to do this.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. You want a voice lesson to help you with your trauma?
Go.
Let's do this. Yeah, I know how to do this. But yeah, so my whole literally since 2017 until now has been a comfort zone shift. Just learning to go.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but it's been wonderful. Like this is such a dream job for me. I mean, I loved teaching you guys, but this is what I'm made to do.
For sure.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah. Would you have done it sooner if you could have, or like?
Well, I think knowing now, what I know now, I probably would have, but I know everything works for a reason.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to teach both of my kiddos all the way through their senior year.
I mean, that's pretty, what a gift. You know?
And that happened for me. My dad was my music teacher through middle school and high school, and I love that.
Totally.
And that's what I wanted to do for my kids as well.
Yeah.
And so yes and no. I mean, I kind of wish I would have done it a little bit earlier because I would have more time. But I'm 57 now. I don't plan on retiring. I mean, I'd love to do this for another 10 to 15 years if I could.
Of course.
If my body will allow it, I'll keep doing it.
Yeah,
But,
absolutely.
Yeah. But if not, then I'll train somebody else and even continue the business as this business owner, or I'll pivot and sell the business if I get to be 70 and I'm like, okay, I'm done. Then I'll sell the business and let somebody take it over.
Yeah, maybe you can grow it. And
I am growing already.
Yeah.
I hired my first subcontractor.
Really?
Because I started with a company that has senior living centers here in Greeley, in Fort Lupton, and in Denver. And they were like, our people love this so much. It's memory care and assisted living. They're like, our people love this so much. And they're small homes. They keep their homes at 12 residents or under. So they're not big facilities. Uh-huh. And so they said, would you consider coming down to Denver? And I said, okay, tell me what that looks like. So I go down to Aurora one Wednesday a month and I do 3 sites there. And then the next week I go to Lakewood and I do 2 sites there.
Okay.
Well, they have like 12 more sites there. And they were like, can you do more sites here? And I said, no, I can't, but I can hire somebody.
Yeah.
So now I have a subcontractor. She lives in Denver and she's doing 5 extra sites there with the potential to grow into those others.
Okay.
So,
How did you get connected with your subcontractor?
so she kind of through social media. We have a lot of social media sites that are all music therapy therapists, and I put out a blurb like, "Hey, I'm looking to hire somebody in the Denver metro area. Here's what it would require," and then she popped in on that
Wow.
social media site. She's like,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I interviewed her. We went down and looked at the sites together, and so she's brand new. She's a brand new music therapist, just graduated with her bachelor's in May, and so I was kind of hoping to get somebody a little bit more experienced, so I wouldn't have to do so much training.
Sure.
But I met with her and just fell in love with her instantly, and she's like, I really want you to mentor me, and I was like, okay, I know how to teach. I know how to mentor, so let's do this.
Go.
So so I just been teaching her how to be a music therapist in that setting, and.
That's
There we
so
go.
cool. It all works out.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you wish people knew more about you or about your career, like, or about music therapy or anything like that?
I think one of the things I just hope people know is it's never too late. It's never too late to pivot. Never too late to get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think people get older and they're like, I always wanted to do this, but now I'm stuck in this job.
Right.
Don't.
No,
Do not let yourself settle for that.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I see people that just hate their jobs up until they retire, and I'm like, why would you do that to yourself? Yeah, why would you do that to yourself? I mean, I know there's comfort and whatever in like the financial stability.
Sure.
I don't care about that. Like, I don't care if I live in a van
all you ever
down
hear
by the
about
river.
is how hard the job market is.
Yeah.
And stuff. But it's like if you have a direction, then maybe that can help you find. More of what you're looking for.
And I'm always like, if you're passionate about it, you're going to find a way to do it. Right. It's like you're passionate about comedy. You're like, I don't care if I got to go up and down the coast, which is what you did. And I was like, do it, Jared.
Literally.
Do it. You literally did that. I was watching you. I was like, go, buddy, do it. Yeah.
Well, just recently even I was like, man, I really want to do more shows out of state. And like, I was like, that was a big goal for me this year. And I got to September and I was like, oh boy, like I got to start planning that. And it's so hard to like think ahead and be like, oh, I'm going to reach out to people, comedians I don't know out of state and ask them to be on their show. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know when, but I just like, I'm going to pick this date and I don't know what I'm going to find, but I'm just going to do it. So like, and it worked out.
You have to.
Like, And
you have to take those risks.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. If you don't take those risks, you just live a life of mediocrity. And why? Why would you do that to yourself? So,
what's that quote? It's like, most men live their lives in like quiet desperation or something like that.
That's not us.
Yeah,
We're not doing it.
Nope.
No. Yeah. It's no fun to do it that way. And so, just take a risk. Like if you're passionate about it, do it. Like I said, I knew from an early age I wanted to be a music therapist, and it took me a long time to get there. Yeah. Like my journey into music therapy comes from my mom suffered a traumatic brain injury when I was a second grader. She had a what's called an aneurysm, and we were in rural Nebraska, so she had to go to Denver for her brain surgery. They sent her back to Nebraska with we had no therapies. There's a town of 300. There's 0. There's not even
Yeah.
a doctor there.
Right.
You know, so we just did therapy on her. My dad was a music teacher. He sat at the piano. My brother and I are both singers, and we just walked her up and down our living room, and we rehabilitated her. And she lived 17 years past that. She was supposed to
Wow.
live for 2 weeks.
Wow.
She learned to talk again. She learned to walk again. She learned to drive again. But it was all music that did that, you know, because
Wow.
we just took songs that she knew, and we just walked her up and down the living room, and pretty soon she could talk again and she could walk again. So in my brain, I was like, wow, something worked with the music. And so I knew that from the age of however old you are when you're second grade, 7, 8, whatever.
Yeah.
And so then, you know, when you get to be a high schooler, they're like, you need to take these tests to figure out what you should be when you grow up. And mine always
Right.
said to be a nurse. Well, my mom was in and out of the hospital a lot,
Yeah.
and I did not want to spend any more time in a hospital. So
Yeah.
I looked up, this is pre-internet, so like encyclopedia or something. Yeah. Looked up some old journal, and they talked about music therapy, and I was like, oh, that's cool. So I can use something that I love to do and I'm good at. I was good at music, and something that I know works. I've seen it work with my mom, and put that into a career. Well, again, like I told you, I just wasn't at a place in my life to be able to move away. I didn't want to go to New York or Kansas. CSU's program wasn't developed yet. This was back in the 80s. So I was like, well, I'll just be a music teacher, and then someday I'll get to music therapy.
Yeah.
And I have some great people in my life. My best friend, we've been best friends since the 8th grade. She'd always, every few years, she'd like, don't forget about music therapy.
Yeah.
Don't forget.
Oh,
I'm
that's
like,
cool.
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. And so,
Yeah,
yeah.
you need good friends like that to remind you
Yep.
of you know what your interests are
Yeah.
and like what you
Yeah.
don't forget about your goals. You
Yeah,
know? Like,
yeah.
totally.
Yeah, and then I just use music as a my own therapy. I'm in a local gig band. We have a band called the Screen Door Slammers.
That's
and-
another great example
Yeah.
of like you're never
Yeah.
too old to
Yeah.
get back out there.
Yeah,
and
I'm the youngest one in the band, and I'm 57.
Nice.
And we just go gig around, and we have a really fun sing along band where the crowd gets to pick the songs, and we play the songs,
Nice.
and we get the crowd singing. It's like a big Irish pub vibe, you know.
That's cool.
Everybody's got their drinks up and singing along.
Yeah.
and- yeah. So just do things that you're passionate about, and
yeah.
that's
Yeah,
kinda
and tell the people how you found your band again.
Oh,
How you all know them?
yeah, so we were a blues rock band for a long time called the Danny Derail Band, and my brother founded it. He knew these 2 guys that had played in a local band. Cannot remember the name of the local band. Anyway, they played in a local band together for a long time, and then of course I'm his sister, so he just like, come on, be in the band. And then a good friend of mine from college, my undergrad started at Chadron State in Nebraska, and then ended at UNL in Lincoln. But this guy was from Chadron, and he and I connected on social media, and he was a retired music teacher from Fort Morgan, just looking for gigs to do. And I'm like, hey, come be a part of
wow.
our band. So he drives over from Fort Morgan and plays with us.
Nice.
Yeah, he plays bass guitar. He's a drummer. He plays banjo. He's super talented, sings.
Wow.
So yeah, we just all knew each other from those ways and put together this band.
Nice.
So yeah.
And you play regularly at
477 Distillery here, sometimes in Loveland.
Yeah.
And we play regularly at Smokin' Bros Barbecue in Eaton. That's where we are at tonight.
Okay, cool.
And then we just gig other places. If people want us to play other places, they just get a hold of us.
yeah, what's it called again?
The Screen Door Slammers.
Screen Door Slammers.
That's my brother. That's my brother's
Nice.
humor. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Well, very cool. Well, I just got a couple of quick ones, and
Yeah.
then we'll get you out of here.
Yeah, that's fun.
Do you have a favorite time of day?
Favorite time of day. I am kind of a morning person. I know there's a little bit of connection between the time that you were born and how you
Oh,
vibe.
really?
Yeah,
Yeah, that makes
check,
sense.
Check
Yeah.
that out. I was
Yeah.
born at 6:48 a.m. and that's a really good time for me. Right around 7 a.m. I feel
wow.
really good. I'm ready to go. Got my mind going. I'm ready to kind of do some personal reflection stuff and then some business stuff. And so
Yeah.
right around the 6:48
You
a.m.
get up and get cooking? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was born at like 9 p.m.
There you
on
go.
New Year's Eve.
There you
so
go.
I like
That's-
stay out late and
party. that fits you so well.
yeah. And then
there's
sleep in the next
Yeah,
day.
there's research about how the time you were born
That's so funny.
is kind of your time of day.
Oh
So,
man, that's
yep,
awesome.
yep.
Do you have a favorite soup?
Soup. Oh yes, I make this amazing soup. I know it's kind of egotistical to say it's my soup, but it's a white chicken chili. So you take chicken, you take white beans, and then there's like Monterey Jack cheese and sour
Okay.
cream and course, the chicken broth. Oh,
Yeah.
man,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
good. My kids still like it. They'll be like, Mom, will you make some
totally.
some white chicken chili? And I'm like, yeah. You put some Fritos with it.
Oh,
You
yeah.
could yeah,
It's good
it's
stuff.
such good stuff. So
Man,
that's my
good
favorite
winter
soup.
soup too.
Yeah, all year round soup, but winter for sure. So
Yeah,
I haven't made
definitely.
it yet this winter. I need to make some.
I know.
so.
Well, it hasn't been cold yet.
I know. What's up with that?
I don't know. It's real weird. It's real weird
Look at
how
it, it's almost Christmas,
It's
and look at
almost
it.
Christmas and it's
Yeah.
like 68 degrees out.
Yeah,
But
weird.
do you have a favorite road snack for when you're doing long road trips?
I like.
I just did that drive to Omaha.
Yeah, I'm going to Lincoln I'm going to go see
Oh,
my
man.
oldest kiddo and the grandbabies. I'm going to go see them
Yeah.
on Monday.
Are you driving with anybody?
Just me.
Okay.
Just me. Yep.
It's a long drive
I'm by
by
myself
yourself.
now.
Yeah,
just
my
me.
ass starts to hurt a
yeah.
lot. And
yeah. Get a good book. I got a good friend I'm going to talk to on the phone.
Okay.
I like M&Ms. I know it's a lot of sugar, and I try not to do sugar, but I like M&Ms because it's kind of a challenge for me. Like how put one
yeah.
M&M in, and then just see how many miles I can make it. Like, can I make it from this stop to this stop?
Yeah,
without
just
it
one.
dissolving.
Yeah.
It's just a game.
Yeah,
It's just
so
a game
you
for me.
ration your
Yeah.
M&Ms.
yeah, And then most of the time I'm like, screw it, I'm just gonna eat a whole bunch of them. Yeah,
Yeah.
but then sometimes it's kind of a game.
Nice.
For me. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Well, thanks, Lindy. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
Where can people learn more about your business
Yeah.
and about your gigs?
Sure. So overtonesmusictherapy.com is my website. Pretty simple. Facebook and Instagram, Overtones. I don't know what all those things are, but get on the website, overtonesmusictherapy.com. And then for our band, it's the Screen Door Slammers band.com. So yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
We say stay stretchy to the people.
Stay stretchy.
Yeah.
Okay, stay
That's it.
stretchy.
Yeah. Nailed it.
Love it.
Thanks, Lindy.